This happened when it was Christmas of 2018. I was 13 years old. I remember hearing there was a Christmas parade going down in the park. So I asked my mom if I could go, and she surprisingly said yes. Because she wouldn't normally want me out by myself because I was 13 years old at the time. So I made my way out into the dark streets, started heading to the Christmas parade down at the park, and a few minutes later, boom, I was there. They were a lot of people. People swinging on the swing sets, people eating, sitting down. And there was one of these Santa Claus sit on your lap sets. I know it's hard for me to pronounce, but it's just someone dressed as Santa Claus and a kid goes up, sits on their laps, and they tell them what they want for Christmas. That's what I'm talking about. And there was this other guy dressed as the Grinch. He seemed to notice me right away, and he was signaling me as if he was saying to come over. All I know is I didn't want to do it, so I just continued on with my day. And 10 hours later, I was talking with my friends, having fun, and when the party was getting ready to be over, I started heading home. I said bye to my friends and made my way out onto the street. But as soon as I stepped foot onto the sidewalk, I heard someone go, "Psst." It was the same man dressed in the Grinch costume. He started saying, "Come on, come back to the party and we'll have a good time." And I said, "No, thanks," and started walking straight home. Then, a few minutes later into the walk, there was this car that pulled over right next to me. It was a black Camaro. I didn't know what model it was. Then the driver rolled down the window. It was the same guy dressed in the Grinch costume. And he said, "Come on, get in." And I'm like, "No, leave me alone, you creep." That's when he got out of his car, and then I sprinted all the way home. Not looking back. I can hear the guy running straight to me. I did not look back. I just continued on running home. Then, as soon as I got home, I got in, shut the door, locked it, and then I looked out the window. I saw the guy. He just walked away. I explained everything to my mom and dad, and as soon as I told them the story, they called the police. When my dad got the police on the phone, I explained everything to the operator, and they said that they'll do the best that they can do. They would eventually catch the guy, and he was sentenced to a 5-month in prison. But ever since then, I became more aware of my surroundings. I became a whole lot more brave, and I try to stay away from creeps ever since then. And I don't know what that guy was planning on doing to me. I don't know why he targeted me. I never knew. Okay, let me start off by saying I love Christmas with an absolute passion. The reason why is because my birthday is 2 days after Christmas Eve. But sadly, last year in 2022's Christmas Eve for us didn't go very good. And here's the story. My dad was in a severe car accident that broke his leg. He would have to be in the hospital for 5 weeks. And my mom was over there to give him company. So therefore, I had to stay home by myself. So I just thought, what a lame Christmas ever. But sooner who I know, it was going to be turning into a frightening Christmas. So okay, let's get into the story. I remember eating popcorn, meanwhile watching a Christmas movie. Meanwhile, all of a sudden, I heard my back gate close. And I remember thinking, it can't be my mom and dad. They're in the hospital for 5 weeks. So I went to the window that looked straight at the back gate. It was wide open. So I called my mom and dad and I explained everything. And my mom said, arm yourself, lock the door, and if anybody tries to break in, call the police. So that's what I did. I grabbed the butcher knife, locked the front and back door, closed all the windows, and I hid myself in my room. Then all of a sudden, I heard glass shattering. And then footsteps stepping in. That's when I knew I had to act fast. So I opened my window, stepped out onto the roof, then jumped into the bushes, and then I ran straight into the woods and hid in there for what seemed like an hour. Just me sitting in those woods for a really long time. My head drooped. Then I remember waking up. It was daytime now. Then a butcher knife was at my foot. Meanwhile, there was a really large man laying down. He had long hair, a long beard, and he looked to be really big. He was laying down sleeping. That's when I quietly tiptoed, and then when I was far away from him, I quickly ran straight home. I locked the door, shut the windows, and called the police. And then that quick, the police was here. Then I explained everything. They went into the woods, they found the guy, he was arrested. And to be honest, I don't know why I made the decision just to crawl out of the window when I could just go to the phone to call the police. But to this day, I think it was the right decision to make because I don't think I had the right move to call the police at that time. And I felt like if I didn't make that decision, I probably would have been dead.